Greetings everyone, Slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at some of the best wild decks to climb with from the Festivals of Legends expansion. First we have Outcast Demon Hunter. This worked way better than I was expecting. It's got a couple new tools to help it out from the Festivals of Legend expansion. You've got Security, summon 2/1/1 Illidari with Rush, Outcast summon one more. You've got Rush the Stage, draw 2 Rush minions, they cost 1 less. The Rush minions that are really good in this deck are the Fierce Outsiders, and of course the Vengeful Wallopers. You've also got Kurtrus Demon Render as a finisher, and so you just overwhelm your opponent with little minions, big minions, and a massive attack. Now there are a ton of Druid decks here, and the reason for that is Druid is definitely the most powerful archetype in Wild right now. This build is kind of a more efficient Togwaggle Druid, so it's Tony Druid. So Tony, King of Piracy, swaps both players' decks, but there's no ransom spell involved with Togwaggle, so that makes it a bit easier. So essentially what you're doing here is you're cycling through your deck as fast as possible with Gadget and Auctioneer. The Twig and Sphere combo lets you get an extra 10 mana while you're cycling through your deck, which is very powerful. You do have to be able to have a good actions per minute APM to play a lot of cards in a turn, but it's a very fun deck to play around with. Ramp Druid is probably the best of all these Druid lists. So one of the reasons that the Twig and Sphere combo has become even more powerful is the newly printed instrument tech. Neutral 1 mana 1/2, Battle Cry, draw a weapon. So this lets you get a piece of that combo. You're actually running 2 instrument techs if you want to draw both. But essentially, with Guff, you can bump yourself up to 20 mana very quickly, and then you can have very powerful turns with your Anabrakan, things like Raid Boss Anixia, Alistair Bloodsworn, and the other pieces of this puzzle to just do an incredible amount of damage. You've also got Brand to get extra value, Flibidinous Flute to get extra value. You've also got the combo with Floop's Glorious Gloop, where you can play this, start killing off a lot of the stuff on the board, generating a lot more mana. Very powerful list. And you'll find that you know, the weapon and the Floop combos are pretty much in most of these Druid lists, so I won't mention it again. Togwaggle Druid, the new inclusions in this specific list is the Photograph of Fizzle. This takes a snapshot of your current hand and shuffles it into your deck. This is helpful if, for example, you get your Togwaggle dirty ratted or Theotar or something as you've lost your win condition. This lets you get a little bit of extra value. The E.T.C Band Manager also helps you out here. You've got the Jade Idol to avoid fatigue if things go wrong with your Togwaggle. You've got Kobold Stickfinger, which is a tech against Kingsbane Rogue, which is a deck that's pretty prevalent in the meta right now. And you got Theotar if you want to take a more control route. But essentially, you play the Togwaggle, you can time it with the Naturalize so that your opponent doesn't get the ransom spell, and then give them an empty deck. Then we have Questline Druid. So Questline Druid has become a lot more powerful because a lot of cards in Festival of Legends were printed to permanently buff the hero power's attack and armor. So specifically, those cards are... where are they? Oh, this one's actually not running those. So, but essentially, because you can so easily gain a lot of attack and a lot of armor, some new cards to help you out is Rake. So Rake will... Actually, this isn't much of the Lich King, but just to look at how it works. It gives you hero +2 attack this turn, deal damage equal to your hero's attack to a minion. So this is just a really nice 1 mana removal. You've got Harmonic Mood. So this swaps each turn between being +2 attack, gain 4 armor, to +4 attack, gain 2 armor, which is quite nice. You've also got Spread the Word, which is a new card. Draw 2 cards, costs 1 less for each attack your hero has. And since your hero typically has a lot of attack, this is quite good. You've got the Crypt Keepers, just a nice 0 mana taunts because you're going to have so much armor. You very quickly cycle through your quest line and just do a ton of face damage to your opponent. There are a lot of variations of this list, and it's still in development. So this is just one of many versions. Some versions also run Gonk. Some versions also run the permanent buff attack armor cards. So this is an archetype to keep an eye on. It's changing quite a lot. Then we have Meccatheon Druid. Again, you've got the same Druid base that we see. However, this list is running Celestial Alignment, which is the new version of this if you're not familiar. It sets your mana crystals to 0, set the cost of cards in your hand and deck to 1. But what this lets you do is it lets you play the Lady Anaconda. Your nature spells cost 2 less. This means your nourishes are really cheap. Poison seeds are really cheap if you need to. If you don't have the Lady Anaconda on board, you might also instead want to play the Yasiel Windsinger. Your spells cost 1. Just be careful though, because the Lady Anaconda can set your nature spells to 0, but the Yasiel overrides that. So do be careful if you have both on the board. But basically, when you got both on the board, you're cycling through your entire deck. You are gonna empty out your deck, empty out your hand until you've got a Meccathun and a Poison Seeds, and then you kill your opponent. And the last Druid deck to mention is Aggro Druid. Sadly, this didn't work very well for me, and I wish it did. Though I only played a few games. But the tools that are helping Aggro Druid kind of have a little bit of a better chance in the meta. I mean, Mistake is not from Festival of Legends, but it's a really nice inclusion because it's considered to be a pirate. You've got Peaceful Piper. This is a new one. So you can either draw a beast from your deck or discover one. The beast that you're drawing is the Mistake, keep in mind. So if you've already drawn both of your mistakes, you will want to go ahead and discover. This list is also running E.T.C to have either an Arbor Up, Kobold Stickfinger, again, Kingsbane Rogues are everywhere right now, or Loatheb to Stall. Moving on to Hunter. Aggro Hunter worked really well for me. I was pretty impressed. The cards that are helping it out are the Thornmantle Musician, Finale, the next beast you summon gets +1/+1. The nice thing is that it doesn't have to be on the same turn, so you can just put this down on turn 1 and then have a really strong turn 2 play. You've also got the Jungle Jammer. I don't know if it's worth crafting it if you don't have it, but I think it was really cool, and it's nice how when you cast spells, and keep in mind there are a lot of little spells in this list, you can just summon a nice random big beast when the weapon breaks. Cards like Bunch of Bananas, it's actually 3 spells. The other one is, where's the monkey one? Barrel of Monkeys. It's actually 3 spells. And so it's just really good fuel for the Jungle Hammer. Just gives you a nice little bit of a high roll. You've also got Rowdy Fan, which is turning out to be quite a good card in aggro decks. It's a 3 mana 1/5, so that's difficult to kill. And you get to give +4 attack to a minion while it stays alive. So it's just a really nice way to have a powerful board. Beast Hunter, on the other hand, didn't work so well for me, though it does work really well for some people. There's a chance I'm just not playing it properly. But as for what is new in the list, I don't think there's anything new. If I have a scroll through here, I don't see anything new. So it's just Beast Hunter. But it's pretty solid. Most people slot in around tier 2. So if you want to play some Hunter, and it's a bit of a quirky deck, it's got a bit of a learning curve, but it's a pretty good one. On to Mage. Secret Mage, there's nothing new here. If you want to climb quickly, play Secret Mage. A Quest Mage. A Quest Mage is still very good, even though the bird got nerfed. It's still quite a good deck. This list is running a few new cards. I think Rewind. Yeah, Rewind is new. Discover a copy of another spell you've cast this game. This is helpful just to progress your quest, but also if you're lucky, maybe you'll get a time warp, if you've already played your time warp, of course. You've also got an E.T.C in here. The E.T.C has a Potion of Illusion, has a Reno Jackson if you've played your duplicates, and you've also got the amazing Reno to remove a board and then have some fun RNG every turn. But essentially what you're doing here is you're just playing a lot of spells that didn't start in your deck. You can play Grand Magister Ramath, which will recast all those spells. You can also play Magister Dawngrafts to play one of every school of spells that you've played this game just to get some extra value. You've also got Volume Up, which is a new card. It's a 4-mana draw 3 spells. Finale, discover a copy of one. It's pretty nice as well. So Quest Mage definitely still in the meta, just a different way of getting through the quest. Then we have Mech Mage. The main reason people are trying out mech decks again is because of one new card, Frequency Oscillator. 1 mana 2/1 mech, battle cry. The next mech you play costs 1 less. Just gives it a little bit of an extra push. This didn't actually work very well for me. I just kept getting my board cleared by other decks. But if you want to play some Mech Mage, you got a little bit of a boost. Moving on to Paladin, we have Handbuff Paladin. So Handbuff Paladin is back in the meta for a few reasons. Some is new cards, some is cards got unnerfed. Conviction's back to 1 mana. That's a pretty big deal. Audiomatic is pretty good. 2 mana 2/3 Rush Finale, gain lifesteal, so this is a nice one to buff in your hand. Disco Maul is pretty powerful. It's a 2 mana 2/2 weapon, and as you play minions, the death rattle that will go onto a friendly minion will get increasingly more powerful. Just be aware, this is a minion on the board, not in your hand. But otherwise, again, this one didn't work that well for me. But again, I only played a small sample size of games. But yes, Handbuff Paladin got a bit of a boost in power. Now, Mech Paladin actually worked a lot better for me. Similar to Mech Mage, you've got the Frequency Oscillator, which is a new inclusion, but otherwise it's identically the same as Mech Paladin we saw before the Festival of Legends. Looking at Priest, we have Meccathon Priest. I have no idea how this deck works. I'm not even going to go through how it works. It is a Miracle Priest style list. It's running the new card Love Everlasting. Your first spell each turn costs 2 less. Lasts until you don't play a spell on your turn. It's kind of an interesting legendary spell to have in there. But otherwise, you've also got Idol's Adoration, letting your hero power cost 0 2 times. This is a nice little 1 mana weapon to give you some extra value. But basically, let me know how this one goes, because I haven't given it a go, but definitely something different. A Combo Priest also got a nice boost. I'm a big fan of Combo Priest, love the archetype. So Priest has a new mechanic that's part of the core set now, Overheal. So you've got cards like Crimson Clergy, 1 mana 1/3 Overheal, draw a card. So it could even be at full health, and you heal it, you get a card. So it's just great for cycling through your deck, which is something a Combo Priest desperately needs to do to find all the pieces to OTK your opponent. You've also got, is that the only new card we're running here? Looks like it. Yeah, some lists are running the new location, but basically just having the Clergy in here is just enough to cycle through your deck a little bit more than you normally could. But then you just, hopefully a big minion sticks, or you steal one with Potion of Madness, and you whack your opponent for a ton of damage. Moving on to Rogue, Pirate Rogue. The reason Pirate Rogue is even more powerful than before, Cold Blood got unnerfed back to 1 mana. Pretty insane. Harmonic Hip Hop is a new card. It's a 2 mana spell that swaps each turn. It's either a deal 1 damage, give your weapon +3 attack, or it's a deal 3 damage, give your weapon +1 attack. So this is probably a better inclusion than something like Eviscerate or Wicked Stab. I think Pirate Rogue is the best deck in Wild, so if you want to climb, play Pirate Rogue. You'll get a quick legend if you haven't got one already. Because of the Cold Blood unnerf, people are trying out Odd Rogue again. So you've got the 1 mana Cold Blood. You got the Rowdy Fan in here, which is nice. We saw that earlier, just to get some extra power on your board. But that's all it has going for it, and sadly, even though I hit Legend with Odd Rogue in the previous expansion, I tried this list and I just got beat up by everything. Probably the second most powerful rogue deck in the meta right now is Kingsbane Rogue. So Kingsbane Rogue, the reason that this has become more powerful in the meta is because, again, you've got the instrument tech. So now you've got Cavern Shiny Finder to draw, you've got instrument tech to draw, so this is much better than running, say, Raiding Party. You've got Harmonic Hip Hop again in here, you've got Mic Drop, draw 2 cards, Finale, give you a weapon +2 attack, which is great for Kingsbane Rogue. You've got the E.T.C in here, which includes Evasion to buy a turn, Zephyrus if you've gone through your duplicates, Smothering Starfish if druids are annoying you and you need to smack through a Spreading Plague. I'm not a big fan of the Shadowcrafter Scabs in here. I think it's a little bit on the heavy end, on the high end. But otherwise, there were lots of variations of Kingsbane as well, because people are playing around with it. They're trying out Renathal lists as well with 40 cards. So definitely Kingsbane Rogue is one that's back in the meta. The last rogue deck to mention, and be aware that it has been nerfed because of standard. The nerf being... Actually, no, this one doesn't run the location. So never mind. So, basically, in this list, you've got a lot of cheap spells. So you're trying to play a lot of stuff in one turn, hence the term Miracle. You've got the new card Breakdance. Return a friendly minion to your hand. Summon a dancer with its stats and rush, which can be pretty insane, especially if you, say, have one of these scribbled Stenographers that you've played for 0, or an Arcane Giant that you've played for 0. You got the Edwin in here. You got the new Bounce Around. So this is a card for 3 mana that will return all friendly minions to your hand. They cost 1 this turn, which is pretty insane. So there's, I mean, it's not the easiest deck to play, but you can just do a lot of stuff in one turn and then just fill your board full of stuff and hope your opponent can't deal with it. There are no Shaman decks in here, but I can let you know that even Shaman and Shadowhawk Shaman are some of the best decks to play right now. Just they don't really run any new cards. So let's look at Warlock. Warlock's in a weird spot because it lost a lot of its good things, but some people are having success with Cube Lock. As for new cards that it's running, I think this is new. Is this new? No, it's not. This is from Murder at Cathalnathra, but I've never seen it. Discover a friendly minion to resurrect and give it rush. It dies at the end of the turn. That's pretty nice, especially if you play it on, say, a Void Caller. You've got the Kobold Stickfinger in here because Kingsbane Rogues are pretty annoying. You've got Rin, Orchestrator of Doom. It's a 5 mana 3/6 Taunt Death Rattle. Both players draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and destroy the top 2 cards of their deck. It's a cute little tech. It does have Death Rattle, so that's nice with your cube because we are playing a cube lock here. We've got Symphony of Sins. This lets you discover and play a movement and then shuffle the other 6 into your deck. These movements are pretty powerful. They can do things like destroy the top 6 cards of your opponent's deck. I think one of them might deal 6 damage to the enemy hero. They're all quite good. Getting the first one for free is really nice, but the other ones, of course, you got to pay mana for. But if you really want to play some cube lock, this is a good way to do it. Another list that you can see I'm 4 cards short of playing, so I haven't played it. Reno Warlock. I would play this one with a grain of salt, because a lot of the time with Reno decks, they just have success based on that specific player's meta that they're playing around in. But just having a look through here, there's a lot going on, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time going through it. It does run E.T.C Band Manager. You've got Kobold Stickfinger for the Kingsbane Rogues. You've got Rin for some reason. It's fun, I guess. Mojo Master Zihi, which is great to upset the Druids. It's running the Bolf Ram Shield combo. I think it's running the combo. Or maybe that's a Druid thing. But there's a Bolf Ram Shield in there. You got the Symphony of Sins again. You got Darkhand Drathir, 7 mana 6/6 lifesteal at the end of your turn, deal 6 damage to the enemy hero. This is just a pretty nice one. Again, it's from March of the Lich King. It's not new, but you don't see it very often. Yeah, so we are running the Jailer and the Bolf combo. I thought so. But yeah, play this one with a grain of salt. If you happen to have all the cards, great. If not, just throw in whatever you feel like. There's no Warrior decks because Warrior sucks. I said it. But otherwise, you'll find all the deck codes in the description below. If you are a mobile user and it's difficult to copy those deck codes, you can join my Discord. There's an easy to enter link in the description below. You can visit the deck lists only channel, find all those deck codes there. If for some reason you have trouble getting E.T.C's band, I've also listed E.T.C's band under all the deck codes. But otherwise, if you want to help support this channel, you can click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, leave a comment, let me know how the Festival of Legends meta has been treating you in Wild, and until next time, hope to see you again.